We are live. Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Major League Creative Hour and a bit. Brought to you by that weird feeling you get when your balance kind of changes. Today, I am joined by my good friend, confidant, pen pal, and occasional boxing partner, Scott. How are you doing today, Scott?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a snowy day.
It's been snowing there in the good old Scotia.
Oh, it's been like insane. We like schools were canceled. Like the city shut down. They didn't shut down buses though. Buses ran all day like normal. They didn't pull them off the road. So
The
um
bus drivers are the real heroes. This country doesn't understand.
yeah, we certainly do not have enough of them, at least here. This is weird. You're sharing your screen to me on Discord, and I'm watching without the delay. But I'm also watching without the border. But I have Twitch up as well, so I can see the side by side. And I don't know. It just feels like I'm watching two different shows.
Is it a good show or a bad show?
Eh, I mean, I'm invested in the characters at the moment, but because one of them is me, so it's really a target audience kind of deal.
Well, what do you say we kick it off right from the get go here? Let's put some time on the clock,
All right, 5 minutes.
and let's just I'm feeling a little slower today. Let's hit me with a noun. Hit me with a person, a
Okay,
place, or a thing.
we'll start off with a softball hit. Your word is country.
Country.
Country. Now there's
So
some options here.
So when the word country gets said, immediately what I think is nationalism.
Yeah, yeah, countries as a concept.
Yeah, because
Uh,
like, well, it's kind of like a tier system. It's like you say country, and my brain goes Canada because that's where I live. Then I
mhm.
immediately start thinking of maps. Like I
Yeah,
see the world map. But then as I
yeah,
look at the world map, my brain goes to nations. And then when I think nation, I just think nationalism. So that's where that kind of thought process is.
yeah. That's fair. Now, how do we draw the concept of the complementary ideas of countries and nations because they are not the same, but they are very similar.
So what if we put one guy in red and another guy in blue, and the other guy is looking at the one guy and he's like, "My country is better than yours."
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that kind of exemplifies it. I don't know. Nationalism is a weird thing. That kind of vaguely got me like studying nationalism was kind of my bridge between history into political science because like that's how I started was a history major like um 10 years ago. Holy shit.
Oh my
10
god.
years ago. um I got yeah, it was around this time of year that I got into to Carleton, and within a year promptly burned that to the ground. But I had applied to the history program, and yeah, it was literally it was the study of like early 19th century nationalist movements that kind of shoved me in the direction I ended up going.
Nationalism is always such a weird thing to me cuz like okay, so I can say I'm a proud Canadian.
Hmm.
But that doesn't come from any commitment to my country. It comes from the fact that like I was born here. and I enjoy living here. So when I say fuck yeah, Canada, I'm saying it from the perspective of somebody who has never had to worry about paperwork or anything like that. I just kind of showed up.
Yeah. It's a weird idea, and it's not particularly like throughout human history, there wasn't so much of this idea of, oh, we all have something in common because we pay taxes to the same entity.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a thing until about the 1700s. French peasants weren't in like 1500 weren't like, oh yes, we are French, and these are some things we can say about French people that we have in common. They're like, well, I live in this particular region that happens to currently be ruled by the King of France. And he's a dick and takes my money, but he provides an army, so I guess it's chill. And that's pre-nationalist um countries, really.
Yeah,
Was just
it's the
yeah.
general idea of like, oh, I feel protected even if I don't like this guy.
Oh yeah, it was very much it was very much a a racket, is that the word? Like the mafia thing
I I
where
guess so. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, if you don't pay us for protection, then we're gonna burn your house down.
well, yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and 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 that's how it had been for so long, and obviously it still is. But we don't think of it so much as some random king or whatever, because we have this idea of, oh, this is the country we belong to, and it exists as like a thing in and of itself, which is weird and almost farcical. But that's a very long, that's a that's a whole thing in and of itself.
It's one of those things where once you realize that the
There's
concept,
time.
ah, okay. So
That's all right.
all
That's all we have for today on discussing nationalism.
so this is all I have so far for that. It's just a guy kind of looking there going, "Oh, I was gonna rate my country's better than yours, but like really tiny, so it was kind of weird and
Yeah.
eerie." I don't know why I gave him bags under his eyes, but that feels
Oh, he's
fitting.
tired like the rest of us.
No, he's tired, but also he is very sure in his opinions. He's like, my country. He's
Yeah,
he
he doesn't know much. He just knows I don't get enough sleep and my country's the best.
he's what country do you represent? It doesn't matter, man. That's
He's from
fine.
Sleep Country.
Which ironic? It's ironic that he doesn't get any sleep because he lives in the land of mattresses.
Oh yeah, he guides others to the thing which he cannot possess. Is that that's the
I,
quote, right?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't seen the Justice League.
Yeah, I really checked out of DC a long time ago. I couldn't think of a third comic thing. You already made the joke,
I
and then is there a third one?
I mean, I okay, so if you consider the sort of third party comic distribution publishers, there's thousands of independent ones, but the big ones are
Of
like
course.
Image, Dark Horse, essentially the publishers that went the alternate way. They saw how Marvel and DC were doing the system, and they thought we could do it differently. So
Yeah.
if you're ever considering what is the third party to Marvel and DC Comics, it's either Dark Horse or Image Comics.
All right. Well, in that case, yeah, I don't know either. I'm unfamiliar with
Do you know
that
what? When you're
company.
feeling unfamiliar, the best thing you can do is throw 5 minutes on the clock.
5 minutes are on the clock. What kind of word do you want now?
Give me something conceptual.
Let's. Adjectives are quite
So this guy's just pointing at something now. I
yeah.
don't know if he's saying his country is better, but whatever he's pointing at, let's see where we go with that.
Well, whatever he's pointing at should be sloppy.
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 That's a big word. That's an intimidating word. I
Oh yeah, there's a lot of potential in those 6 letters.
okay, so goop monster
Yeah, from
in
a rival country.
in a okay,
He's got a gloop. He's got a gloopia flag.
a
Um,
gloopia flag.
gloop. He's from Gloopamala.
So is he in a
Um,
so immediately what I'm thinking is I have to draw like a military hat of some sort. So he's like the representative of like of the gloopy nation and he's just like a pile of sludge.
okay. Is he like the dictator of Glupan?
You know what? He
Of
might as well be. Like he's not like he's just kind of like a there we go. All right, I found the flow.
yes. It's giving muck.
so,
That
so he's still with full confidence. My country. Sorry, I had to remember how country was spelled. My country
is of the
is. I have such a bad habit where if I do a double T, I do it as like that, like the pi symbol.
yeah. That's how I do it. Though in lowercase, like if I'm spelling my name where it ends in 2 T's,
It's
like I
one.
it's like tally marks.
So he's like, my country is better, and he's just staying it to this blob monster.
And see, I think that works because then the reader is asked to imagine what country might this blob thing be from, and why did this come up? Like, actually, if anything, I think it's a kind of a damning statement of nationalism where this guy is talking to this like otherworldly creature presumably challenging his conceptions of like who we are as sentient life in the universe, and all I could think of is like, oh yeah, well, like USA.
Exactly. It's like, it's like, oh my god. So what you're saying is that we reached out to creatures that don't speak our language, but give us an idea of the universe beyond anything we can comprehend. Or we're still better than them. Like it's just that's a given. Like, oh,
Oh
they're
yeah.
wait, hold on. We found sentient bug creatures. So it just goes without saying that everything they're doing is wrong.
Oh yeah.
My country is better. I don't know what this gloop monster is, but I love him.
Well, he's very well decorated apparently.
I honestly, as we were talking, I just started drawing more medals.
So they have a conception of like warfare and honoring honoring valor, but based on the look on his face they don't have a conception of nationalism.
Whatever he's done, he was very good at. But you're right. They don't. He's like looking. He's like, I don't know who this guy is, but I don't like him. Does the face I drew convey something that says disdain?
Oh, easily, easily.
Like,
The eyes in particular are what I believe to be eyes.
it's eyebrows.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Are the
So like I don't know. So this area is kind of like eyebrows, and it so it's like that's kind of the emotive area, and then I didn't think I really had to draw him with eyes, because realistically eyes are cool, but everything
Yeah.
you need to know about human emotion is in the brows.
See, like they, yeah, they. Oh, there's time
Oh,
again.
that's the time. Perfect. I didn't want to draw any more on him.
Yeah,
Okay, so that, what was that word? That was
that was sloppy.
sloppy. So what we got was an alien general.
Yep, that checks. That is on brand. I'm gonna give you a verb this time to get a little
Oh
action going on in
no.
here.
Okay, okay. Get a little kineticism to the
Get a
show.
little
All
bit
right.
of kinetic energy. Your verb is grab.
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 I that's a very violating word. I can't think of grab without thinking of something that doesn't feel okay in my soul.
Yeah, I mean, you could grab a bite, um, but
Okay.
that's about it. I don't know, like, in my day-to-day life, other than to say grab a bite, I wouldn't think to use grab. Like, I would get something.
Like you're either grabbing a bite or you're grabbing a person.
Yeah.
My coworker Will, I love him dearly and I hug him often. Will sometimes just walk up to me and go, "The claw," and he just like grabs my love handle. And like Will's a big dude too. Like absolutely I violate his space on the daily. Like it's a
Yeah.
back and forth relationship. But it's one of those things where when I think of the word grab, I immediately think of just like my coworker just fucking grabbing me like luggage and just kind of picking me up for a second. Like nobody in my life or really ever has just straight up grabbed my stomach and just lifted me up, which is the center of my gravity. He moves me
Well, that's the most
effortlessly.
effective way to do it, though, is to grab you by your center of gravity.
No, 100% he knows what he's doing. But when I say grab, that's the word that comes to mind. The
Okay.
second word for the sake of time is hazmat, because there is nobody more invasive than somebody in a hazmat suit.
So is okay, is it okay, hear me out. So he isn't supposed to be this close to this glob guy without proper protection. So a hazmat guy is grabbing him to take it back, to take him back because like, this is alien life. We don't have we don't have the same diseases and actually like it's not even him. It's not like, oh, you have to be worried. You might infect Glob Guy. Like, don't be a dick and walk up to Glob Guy with your Earth germs. Like, this man is a decorated emissary of an alien nation, and you decided to just come up and, push your nationalism in his face.
My country is better. And then you got the guy in the hazmat suit in the back just being like, hey man, like a little room please.
Now's not the time, and you need to go get shots.
He's like, sir, Mr. President.
Yeah, he breached his own Secret Service entourage, who were preparing him to get suited up to meet this alien representative and have this big moment, but he's like, no, fuck that. I gotta go tell him my country's better.
I the look I gave him was so absent-minded that it's just like, oh, okay, no, that makes sense. My country is better.
And the tie works. Um, and he's so tired and his hair's thinning because that's just presidents. Like they get it. it's always amusing looking at photos of a president when they got elected versus when they left office. And it's almost always the most stark
All
like
right, so
contrast.
I'm gonna say something that might be a little bit controversial.
Ooh, watch out, chat.
I'm I'm a Clinton fanboy. I know he did some atrocious shit, but the man knew how to politic in the sleaziest, coolest way possible. You can't look me in the eyes and tell me that Bill Clinton wasn't cool. The
Okay,
man just
I
charismatic. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with anything he did. The Monica Lewinsky shit, crazy. That sucks that that happened for her. But Bill Clinton went on air wearing Ray-Bans and played a saxophone. That is the coolest guy ever.
I'm with you. I'm completely with you. I think the caveat. Oh, there's time
Oh,
again.
there's the
Wow.
time. So I drew a man in
I'm
a hazmat suit going, "Sir?"
Hey, I think it works. He's reaching, he's about to grab the president to stop him from making an ass of himself, but it's too late.
It's too late.
All right. Let's just do a random word and see what comes up.
All right.
And we'll go from there because we kind of cycled through the main one. Um, well, okay, we've it's essentially almost done. Your word is bald.
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 You know what I'm gonna do
I
is
mean,
I'm gonna draw another blob monster,
with
and then
no
I'm
hair.
just gonna give him a receding hairline. Like it's so easy.
I don't
Ready?
know if that's me. Am I coming through to you okay? Cause
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
mm, I don't know.
Oh shit! OBS Studio just disconnected for some reason.
Oh, okay. Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, that was my internet. By far. I don't know what happened there. Um, but yeah, no, I totally agree with what you mean. I think probably the best way to phrase it is not like because saying that you like something, I feel like gives it a value judgment, but to say that you are fascinated or that you find interesting, I think that's the way to like approach historical figures because like we don't know Bill, like we don't we never met the guy, but and so I have no reason to like him. I don't know who he really is, but his
Yeah.
actions are definitely something I can find fascinating because I find presidents fascinating. Presidential history is very much in my wheelhouse of interests, and I'm very willing to go on the record and say every person who has ever been president um became or were or became worse morally than most people who have ever lived.
Yeah.
So like to say, just to say like, oh, I like him, especially because partisan whatever, like because the whole people having their political affiliations as part of their identity, like that throws it in. But like I find Ronald Reagan fascinating, even though arguably he's done more damage than many people born in the 20th century. Uh, but he is fascinating because of the shit he did
Yeah. Right.
and
You're like,
the way he did it.
how did I spell president right? I spelled it President.
Yeah, ENT at the end.
ENT. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
you spelled president, which would be funny if he were an insect, um,
You know what?
but he is.
This one is. I'm gi- I'm giving him antenna.
He needs little mandible things too around his mouth. Oh, oh, amazing.
Okay,
Mr.
there we go.
President.
Mr. President.
See, this is why typos can be great.
Now you're like, wait, what country does he represent? And
Um,
just to make it abundantly clear, I am drawing an American flag on his lapel. That's
okay. Yeah, he is the American president. He is the first insect American to be elected president. After the non squishing laws were passed, society slowly embraced the insect. Um, because he's half human, half ant. His father was an ant.
so. What
Um,
you're saying
but
is that they no longer have bug racism, but they still hate blob people.
yeah, America has now embraced bugs as people worthy of rights. But they still have a problem with foreigners.
I'm gonna draw him a little.
Because he was born in an American anthill. Like his birth certificate exists. Though some on the right seem to dispute that. And there's time again. Oh, what
Fantastic.
wonders!
Fantastic. So let's see what we
All right.
got. Let's see what we got right here. We get Mr. President. My country is he's just straight up just insulting an alien species at this point.
Yeah, when not 50 years ago, he could have been, squashed just for being in the wrong part of town. So
I
he
want to know
really,
I want to know who the first human being was that bred with an ant to get this movement going.
well, so, but that's the thing. They've existed throughout all of human history. It's just, they're so discriminated against, that really, like, we don't get to hear their stories.
Don't. Oh, true enough. True enough.
No,
However,
like it's
however,
just
the president is a hybrid Ant Man, but discrimination against black people is still a problem. It's like the president is an ant, and even then, Republicans are still like, "You had the one that one time."
oh yeah, you have Hicks all across America being like, all right, well, I guess bug racism is over now. Meanwhile,
Okay.
Mr. The president is just going to perpetuate the same systems that caused ants to be second-class citizens and
Yeah,
not actually make any meaningful difference.
nothing's changed.
And then the next president is going to be a guy who spent his childhood like using magnifying glasses to melt ants, um,
Scott,
because that's just the way history goes.
I'm gonna need you to edit out the next 3 minutes. Anyways,
5 minutes on the clock.
5 minutes on the clock.
Random word.
Random word.
Your word is wheat.
Wheat,
Wheat,
as in like bread,
as in like bread.
as in like bread. Okay, so
Yeah. Hmm.
oh yeah, no, that's a tough one. Wheat.
Yeah, that's where we're getting stumped.
Um. Well, when you say wheat, I think farm, and when you hear farm, you hear farmer, and when you hear farmer, you think plaid. So I'm putting the president in plaid.
Oh, he's trying to get the rural vote.
Yeah, yeah. He's just like you and me.
Yeah. Pandering to rural voters? Yeah. Oh, you mean he's trying to be relatable? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying.
I was starting to question what you do in your spare time.
Mostly just pan
Turns out Justin actually got fourth place in the Iowa caucuses.
by accident.
Yeah.
I was trying to register a
Yeah.
MySpace account. I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah, you didn't even step foot in Iowa, but
Legally.
you probably just uh
Oh, legally, I didn't step foot in Iowa. I, I don't. I'm only really allowed in Oregon at this point.
oh yeah, I suppose that's something. Yeah, I forget that like you go there sometimes.
Sometimes
Um,
okay.
yeah.
It's weird. It's such a weird experience for realsies that I've traveled more of the United States than I have Canada, but that's because the border is so close, and I've always like so my dad was a truck driver, and sometimes he'd go to the states, and I'd just be there with him.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like you'd cross, presumably into like what, like New York and stuff.
Yeah, New York, and then he would go and he would drop off what he needs to, and then we just come back to Canada. Okay, so my takeaway from this is that OBS disconnected again.
Oh, like from oh my oh okay yeah the stream is cutting in and out. I was wondering why the uptime only said 11 minutes. I thought, because oh, this is so weird. Yeah, because my internet crashed
Oh,
for a little bit there, and so I had to refresh. I assume we're still recording, but
yeah, yeah. No,
it
so
looks like yeah,
anything
it
in
looks
the
like we're back live. Oh yeah, we're up again. Okay.
all
No,
right.
no, no, we're down again.
It's a good thing we started reprioritizing. Oh, and it reconnected. I don't know what's going on.
Um, Google the
You know what
error
might be
it's giving
happening
me.
is because I'm streaming to you on Discord and OBS.
It's possible, yeah.
Either way, so now Mr. President is now wearing a plaid shirt because of the word wheat, because he's a farmer.
That works. Well, why don't we use the minute remaining on the timer, and I'm gonna give you an adjective,
Okay, hit me, hit me, hit me.
and I'm gonna do that. Illegal.
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 What if he's just like, well, I'll remove this exclamation part, and then he can just look at them and be like, go back to where you came from.
My country is better. Uh yeah. Yeah. The president's just not understanding that like they're actually here to like share technology with us. So like sorry we landed our spaceship without applying for the proper visa. Um
There we go. My country is better. Go back where you
3,
came.
2, 1. All right.
And
That's
fantastic.
I love that.
My country is better. Go back where you came. This this has been one
Which is
of the most coherent things we have drawn so far.
well, and the world building.
It makes so much sense. Like I look at him wearing plaid and I'm like, what? And then like also the bug president introduced like meeting like sludge monsters and the guy in the biohazard suit being worried. It's so much like context.
There's a lot of implied things going on. Like,
Okay.
why does the guy have medals?
How many wars has he won? Okay, so we have this big blank area up in
Mm,
here, and I want to fill that with something. So, what we're going to do is we're going to use the rule of three, and
mm.
we're going to use three options, hit it with a noun, and we're going to see how many the three nouns that line up, and we're going to pick the best one of the three nouns for the last one.
Alright, 3 nouns. How much time do you want on the clock?
Let's give me 1 minute.
Alright. So, I can select it to give me 3. So, let's just put 1 minute on the clock. The time will start when you select which one you would like.
Okay.
So, your words are Oh, hold on. It just changed on me. So, alright. Scrap that. Your words are departure,
Yeah.
solution,
Uh
or
huh.
accident.
Accident.
Accident. Is that uh,
Okay, so solution.
solution, departure, accident?
So when I think departure, I think leaving. And when I look at this situation, clearly the president of the United States has messed up whatever relations are going on here. So
Easily.
when I think of leaving, I think of a flying saucer in the background just deciding to get the fuck out of there.
Okay.
They've seen everything they need to see.
All right. Well, then your 1 minute starts now. Yeah. So they're just flying away. But like, well, I guess there's no point in being here.
There's no
Um,
intelligent life on this planet. Commentary.
that's very comic strip. I can there's probably I can picture several different kinds of comics making that joke, but it's because it works. Especially if you had like a character doing that like side mouth talking thing where he's still like looking ahead, but he's kind of talking to someone behind him, be like, "There's no sign of intelligent life on this planet." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. I drew a
All
little
right,
back. There we go. It's a flying
I
saucer flying off.
I think that works.
Fantastic.
Is that a person or an alien in the?
The best word I can use is Muppet.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Just like the flappy mouth, like like they're just leaving. Ah,
So are they ditching this guy?
I think so. I think
Okay.
they're just leaving. They're just a flying saucer. Hold on, let me go in there. Just gotta reposition them. And then for funsies, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna go blur, and then I'm gonna go motion blur, and then I'm just gonna do that. And now it looks like they're moving very fast.
Oh, this is a different alien race that was trying to come down, but they're seeing the situation that's going on before they even had a chance to land, and they're like, "Nope."
Uh-uh. You know what? In that case, we'll go to filter, we'll go to blur, and we'll go to motion blur, and we're gonna just there we go. They're gone.
Or it's just an alien rubbernecking, like he wasn't meaning to come to Earth, but he saw that the blob guys were here, and so like on his way past at light speed, he's like, "Oh, let me take a look what's going on here."
It just so happened that his first contact and their first contact were on the same day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a time zone issue because like once you get out of the Earth, Like forget like the 24-hour, clock or whatever. When you're trying to coordinate across the galaxy,
Yeah.
uh,
That part never made it a lot of sense to me, and how they make time work in an intergalactic point, because it's like we
mhm.
measure time by how we circle the sun.
Well, that's how it started. But in theory, a like the way we define a second, it just has to do with the property of a cesium atom. So like you could be on any planet, and if you have a cesium atom, you can determine how long a second should be. Um,
Oh.
yeah, it's called SI units. They're they're meant to be based on certain fundamental constants.
So it's essentially what would happen. So it's constant time. It's kind of measuring time against itself instead of like, because again we measure time against our sun. So what it
Hmm.
is it's factoring, factoring the measurement of time as more of a particle system than a rotationary galactic system.
Yeah, like it's not the division of a certain length of time that's unique to our planet. It's based fundamentally on something that you could be anywhere in space, and
Yeah.
as long as you have a cesium atom and you can measure the certain amount of energy states that it cycles between, you can know how long a second is.
Huh. That that changes a lot of stuff for me. I'm gonna think about that right now. Scott, I'm just gonna draw a money sign for you as a
Cool.
signature.
Because time is money, and both time and money can be measured in cesium atoms.
And
So
it's also very confusing. All right. Well, we're gonna cap it off there. We're sorry for the disconnections and the trouble in service. Thank
didn't seem
you.
anyone minded.
Nobody ever really does.
No.
So, thank you if you came out to check it out. For joining the Majorly Creative Hour and a bit. I hope you enjoyed what we came up with here today, and I hope your day is good and you feel loved and appreciated. And if you don't, make better friends. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Scott, do you have any words you want to say before we head out?
You know, n- nationalism as a concept might have some benefits in giving people a shared sense of community, but there are better, less excluding ways to do that that don't inflame the passions of governments. So maybe we should look at those instead.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for checking it out. And we'll see you on the next Majorly Creative Hour. Don't run into traffic. And have a good night.